The president of the United States, he's a convicted felon. He's an adjudicated rapist. He is clearly suffering from dementia, cankles that are like super wide, puffy, teeny tiny little hands with all these bruises all over him. This is not a sane person. And to prove this point, this is what the president of the United States, you used to be able to say that, and it could have been a Republican or a Democrat. But by saying that, it didn't come with an eye roll. And now it comes with this horrific, cringy eye roll because the president of the United States, Kanks, short for Kankles McTaco Tits. We want to bully the shit out of this guy as much as possible because that's what he does to the most marginalized people in this country. Here's what he puts on Lie Social. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And then there's a photoshopped picture of him, which according to Jesse Waters, real men don't Photoshop their photographs, but Kanks does it all the time. Shypocalypse now. Like this guy's some badass. I mean, if this guy were even remotely, I would say even 500 yards away from active combat, I don't think there's a diaper big enough that could contain how badly this guy would shit his pants. Well, J.B. Pritzker keeps fighting for us and he keeps popping back. The president of the United States is threatening to go to war with an American city. This is not a joke. This is not normal. Donald Trump isn't a strong man. He is a scared man. Illinois won't be intimidated by a wannabe dictator. And he ran on this, you guys. He said, I'm going to fight the enemy from within. And that means anybody who doesn't like him or anybody who didn't vote for him. That's who his enemy is. Not Vladimir Putin,
No.
not Kim Jong-un, not Xi, Americans. This is really what's new about this is an American president that wants to actively go to war against American citizens in blue cities.
And he's not even trying to hide it.
Yeah.
And is it about crime? Because all we've heard about is he needs to go because of the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. But then now it's the deportations. So which is it? He doesn't give a shit why he's going. He wants a blue city with a black mayor, in my opinion. He wants to keep the midterms from happening. He wants to prop himself up as a Putin. And it is so alarming. Every single person should be alarmed. And I'm not even going to touch how undignified that picture is. But it gets me every time.
Okay. And then you guys, it gets worse. So his number two in command, as everybody knows, is Smokey Eye Sociopath, who for spite we call Lil Smokey. And the pun is intended in that. Smokey for the eye and little because little dick energy from this guy. So the United States of America, you guys, bombed and took out a boat that was going from Venezuela, I guess, to the United States of America. Who knows where it was going? We'll never know because it was bombed. And here is the way Little Smokey presents this on Twitter. Killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. Brian Krasenstein responds, killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. J.D. Vance responds to him and says, I don't give a shit what you call it. This is the sitting vice president of the United States of America. And for 8 years, Fox News lost their goddamn minds because they said Obama was trying to be a king. This is moral collapse of the highest order. But let's talk a little bit about Lil Smokey. Lil Smokey wrote a book, Hillbilly Elegy, about the opioid epidemic that has plagued the United States of America. His mother, an opioid addict in recovery now. And never do you hear these people talking about going after big pharma.
No.
So by their logic, can you just bomb the Sackler family? Should you just bomb these pain management clinics? Should you really get strict? No, they don't do it. They don't care. This hits hard because Venezuelans are brown skinned. And in an interesting twist of this, a lot of this is the birth child of Senator Marco Rubio. Former senator, now Secretary of State, and he has like 3 other jobs because that's how badly he's capitulated. Marco Rubio was confirmed 99-0 through the Senate. And I always think back on that because it shows you how unserious the Democrats are to fighting fascism. For me, I would think a senator would think, if this guy can triple Trump, if this guy can serve for a man that started an insurrection against the United States of America, whose supporters wanted to kill the vice president of the United States of America, we need to think about little Marco's judgment. It should have been the opposite of that. The Democratic Party from the jump should have started voting no to every single one of these things. They need to defund the government. They need to get as serious as possible because these diabolical sociopaths are dead serious on the demise of this country.
Well, firing on that boat, there was no evidence. They're saying, oh, it's a drug boat, but we don't know that. They could say that. Trump wants to start a war with Venezuela. And here's the thing, when you look at J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio 10 years ago, we've got America's Hitler, he's the con man. And now, because they have no conviction and the only thing they pledge their loyalty to is power, and they are sitting there and they are embarrassing themselves and the American brand. And J.D. Vance, I think he thinks he can play the tough guy really well, but he is so inauthentic and he's just such a low-ris dick that it comes off like he's a nut. Like he comes off every bit as crazy as Trump. And I know his problem is not dementia. It's straight up no conviction for anybody but himself.
But it's more than just embarrass themselves. They're killing people.
And it's crime. These are crimes.
These people are killing people. They don't give a shit about addiction. They do not give a shit about addiction. If they cared about addiction, then you would see a massive, massive restrictions and regulations put on the opioid industry. And it's been a little bit, but not what it needs to be. And when people can't go to their pain management clinic anymore, guess where they end up going? To the streets for heroin. And so it's just, all of this is total bullshit. But even Rand Paul agrees with us on this. Put this up. Rand Paul says, JD, I don't give a shit. Vance says killing people he accuses of a crime is the highest and best use of the military. Did he ever read To Kill a Mockingbird? Did he ever wonder what might happen if the accused were immediately executed without trial or representation? What a despicable and thoughtless sentiment it is to glorify killing someone without a trial. And here's the problem, you guys. Millions of Americans think Lil Smokey's tweet hit hard. Millions of Americans who have addicts and alcoholics in their family do not have the ability to objectively think about anything happening to anybody else until it happens to them personally. They like seeing shit blown up. They like seeing brown people being denied due process. And Donald Trump and J.D. Vance is the accumulation of all of the worst of America's impulses put into one place at one time, to where even Rand Paul is the voice of reason in this. And moving along now, these people, you guys, they come up with stupid shit that they think is just like, it's all the optics of this propaganda. Pete Hegseth, who is an untreated alcoholic, back to the addiction thing, these are broken people, emotionally stunted, formed around the biggest, most emotionally stunted person on the planet right now, Donald Trump. And they've decided that the United States of American military has been on defense too much.
Oh, God.
So we're going to switch it up, you guys, and we're going to go on offense. We're going to change the name, the Department of War. And this is the Secretary of Defense, or now I guess I should say the Secretary of War. This is him speaking in the Oval. And this is just listen to this.
Restoring victory and clarity as an end state, restoring intentionality to the use of force. So at your direction, Mr. President, the War Department is going to fight decisively, not endless conflicts. It's going to fight to win, not to lose. We're going to go on offense, not just on defense. Maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Violent effect, not politically correct. We're going to raise up warriors, not just defenders.
You guys, this is like regressive inner child issues, cosplaying. What's so fascinating to me about the MAGA movement is like if you were to go and talk to a therapist in any country and say, yeah, if I don't support it blindly and I think that we should kill people, all these things, that therapist is probably going to think you need to be institutionalized. And we have this effect of all of these Americans that go along with this, that hear this, that claim to be good Christian folk. And they hear that talk about, maximum violence and maximum lethality, and they have a Pavlovian reaction to it. Their mouths salivate. So they go to church on Sunday and they pray to their Lord Jesus Christ. And then they go and vote for a political party that does the exact opposite of all of the things that the central character of this religion does. And they like it. I mean, there is a cruelty that has been re-released, because there's been a lot of cruelty in our past. But it's important to remember that all of the people now, the Christians that are with this, they've been here the whole time. These are the ones that fought against desegregation. These are the ones that were KKK. All of this has a white Christian problem. All of the worst points of American history, all the roads lead to white fanatical Christianity. Every single point.
You're completely right. And another thing that I just want to bring up is the cost of all this. Waste, fraud, and abuse. That was Doge. That was the big deal. Everything Donald Trump has done has cost billions and billions of dollars for nothing. Gitmo being redone, Alligator Alcatraz, money pit. Now we're spending $1 billion on his plane from Qatar. This whole changing it to the Department of War, when it's really going to be the defense because it's just symbolic, is $1 billion.
Yes, I read that.
This is why Donald Trump bankrupted casinos. Right here. This kind of shit where you do stupid shit that costs a fortune for no reason. Building, turning the Rose Garden into a cement patio that's the dumbest looking thing on the planet. That costs money. So we're going to take money away from education. We're going to take money away from cancer research so we can do stupid shit. That's why he bankrupted casinos.
All right. And then lastly, I want to leave you with the way the propagandist arm of this dictatorship operates. Put up a tweet by Caroline Levitt. 55% of Americans approve of President Donald J. Trump. She put this up yesterday. My gal over at Decoding Fox News immediately fact checks her. Most polls have him at 37 to 40% approval. And so you see a lot of people that just believe Caroline Levitt because she Christian washes. She Christian signals. All of these people, Pete Hegseth, Moses Mike, all of these people Christian signal and Christian wash the depravity, the diabolical nature and intent of this fascist regime. I know this has been incredibly uplifting.
Yeah.
But it's important that you stay engaged, because I believe that his approval rating is in the low 30s, and we have to stay focused. We have to stay locked in. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. If you haven't, please do so. And support us by going to get our book. It's the coolest read of the fall. Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches, written by none other than myself and this broad here. And we'll see you all later.